Hello and welcome to this tutorial for the Sounds API in Incisor. Implementing sounds in Incisor is intuitive and flexible. This tutorial will cover adding a sound asset to your project, using playback functions to control individual sounds, defining a volume control, creating dynamic volume changes, and syncing multiple sounds together. Let's open the directory of the project we want to add sounds to. To add sounds to our project, simply drag and drop files into the project's assets folder. Sounds must be encoded in the WAV file type. For the purposes of this tutorial, I've set up a few buttons that will control our sounds. Check out our tutorial on buttons for more information. To access a sound, type nc.sounds and select the intended asset from the list of autocomplete suggestions. Now we'll take a look at basic playback functions. Play will play the sound and loop it continuously. I've assigned this to our Control 1 button. Now I'll assign Pause to our Control 2 button. Calling Pause immediately pauses the sound and allows us to resume playing the sound from the point at which it was paused. Now I'll change Pause to Stop. Stop immediately stops the sound and starts it from its beginning when played again. Now I'll change Play to Play Once. The sound will play one time through and then stop. Play Once also accepts a callback function as an argument, which will be triggered once the sound reaches its end. Add the callback owner and the name of the function as a string. Here I've set it to call a function that changes the color of the button. The main volume parameter sets the volume of an individual sound, with 0 being silent and 1 being the original volume of the sound. Any sound can be assigned to a volume control. This allows us to change the volume of multiple sounds at once. To create a volume control, call nc.defineVolumeControl, using a string as the name. This will return the new volume control. It can now be found using nc.VolumeControls. To make this volume control modify the sound's volume, push it onto the sound's volume control array. One useful way to manipulate sounds is by using Incisor's swoop value function on a volume parameter. This way we can create dynamic fades and volume changes with specific timing. I'll assign the volume control we just made to another sound. Now I'll use swoop value on the volume parameter of the volume control, setting the volume control as the object, volume as the parameter, 0 as the end value, and 2 as the duration. Now when I click on Control 2, the sounds will fade to 0 over 2 seconds. We can also set the playback rate of a sound. This will change the speed and the pitch of the sound. The default playback rate is 1. HTML5 can introduce small delays between the instructions for sounds and when the sounds receive the instructions. This can cause looped sounds of different lengths to get out of sync over time. The define synced looping track group function can be used to sync multiple sounds together and eliminate these delays. This is useful for mixing dynamically between different layers of a soundscape that are meant to loop constantly over long periods of time. To sync our sounds, we simply call nc.defineSyncedLoopingTrackGroup, name the group using a string, and list the sounds we want to sync in an array. I'll put a playback rate change on Control 2. When played simultaneously, the sounds will be synced with each other, even if the playback rate or other parameters are changed. This concludes the tutorial for the Sounds API in Incisor. Don't forget to check IncisorDevDocumentation.com for more tutorial videos, and feel free to leave questions and feedback on Stack Overflow and our subreddit. Have fun creating with Incisor.